Texans, Colts, Sunday, Indianapolis. The last time these two teams played, the Houston Texans prevailed in a game that was very, very close, down to the wire. This time around is going to be very interesting for the Texans, and I'm concerned about a couple of matchups. The Texans are without one of their best linebackers in Christian Harris. So, two guys that I'm skeptical about are going to be playing a lot. Henry To'oTo'o, less skeptical. The guy played at Alabama. But Jake Hansen and Delshon Phillips are going to be part of a linebacker core going up against Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. This is Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans earlier this week talking about the Texans' struggles against Taylor over his time in the NFL.
Yeah, Jonathan, I think he's a successful running back just because he runs with such great contact balance. It takes more than one guy to get him down. He does a really good job breaking tackles. He plays physical. He plays downhill. He runs the ball, plays the game the right way. I think that's what makes him a really good running back.
Can you guess, Sean Mapes, behind the glass, what Jonathan Taylor's yards per carry average is in his career against the Houston Texans?
I'm guessing it's really high. I'm going to go 5.5.
5.96.
Almost 6.
136 carries for 811 yards in 6 career games and 7 touchdowns. He's averaging 135.2 yards a game against the Texans.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
And it's not just Christian Harris that's out for this game. They're also without Danico Autry, who suspended the first 6 games. And look, the Texans struggled to stop the run last year. Are they better defensively with Danielle Hunter? Yes. With Will Anderson bulked up, heading into his second year, apparently okay with the ankle injury that he has been dealing with throughout training camp? Sure. I like their defensive line. I feel like Derek Barnett's good. I like what Mario Edwards has done on the defensive tackle side of things this preseason. You even saw some nice plays from the old man himself, Jerry Hughes. They got some names on the defensive line side of things, but Jonathan Taylor's really good. And Azeez Al-Shaair can't do everything. So that's my first concern with this Texans matchup against the Colts. The other one has to do with Indianapolis's front 7 on defense. I still don't know that the Texans' offensive line, when fully healthy, is going to be good. I don't know that. I don't think any of us know that. We all expect it to be good, but do we know it for certain? Especially when something that is in the back of my mind, I'm not sure that Bobby Slowick knows how to run the football. I'm not sure he does. He couldn't last year. Everyone was like, oh, it's Dameon Pierce. I don't know. Devin Singletary did what he could. The offensive line had some injuries, sure. But what if it wasn't just the offensive line? What if whatever Bobby Slowick's doing, he just doesn't as sharp when it comes to creating an effective running game? I think it's certainly on the table. And then you take a look at not the Texans' offensive line, which is finally healthy for it seems like the first time ever. You're going to have Laramie Tunsil. You're going to have Kenyon Green. We'll see how he does. You're going to have Juice Scruggs in his second year at center. Shaq Mason, Titus Howard. Everyone's ready to go. But how are they going to do against the Colts defensive line that's pretty damn good? Colts front 7, that's pretty damn good. Bobby Slowick, Texans offensive coordinator, earlier this week, he at one point was asked about Indianapolis's front 7 that features DeForest Buckner, you might remember from his time in San Francisco, and a couple of other guys who you've probably never heard of, but Kwity Paye, who had 8.5 sacks last year, in addition to a guy that they drafted this offseason, who a lot of people like, Laiatu Latu, a rookie at a UCLA. This new Texans offensive line is basically going to be working together for the first time against a pretty good unit. Here's what Bobby Slowick had to say about that front seven for Indy.
They're really good up front. I mean, really, the front seven, they can go to work. That's been a big emphasis for us is making sure we're good in the run game. We're taking care of that. We're good in the pass game and protections. That's always going to be an emphasis when we play. I got to be honest with you. I feel like every week I'm up here talking about how good the defensive line in front is. I mean, maybe it's a coordinator syndrome. I don't know, but it always feels that way. Where it's always on your mind. It's always at the forefront. Truthfully, I feel like at this point, like we talk about it ad nauseum all week. And I think everybody kind of sees what we see and understands how we want to approach it.
I get the sense.
Thanks, everybody.
I get the sense he's a little bit annoyed with everyone asking, are you going to be able to handle this defensive line this week? But I mean, it was totally fair to ask literally every single week last week, Bobby. It was, and it's still fair to ask. We still have to see it in action. You did it in a polite way, a very future head coachy way, politically. But come on, there should be some skepticism about what this offensive line can do when fully healthy. Because you look at the second level of the Colts defense too. They got some players. Zaire Franklin's good. I know that we know Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed because they've been talking trash with CJ Stroud, but I mean, we remember how tough things were in that last Texans Colts game, right? I mean, outside of the first play of the game where they bombed it to Nico Collins, it was difficult to move. And yes, no Tank Dell and no Stephon Diggs, like a lot of factors that you can bring up and say that's why they weren't able to make a move against the Colts and their defense. But look, man, it's a good front seven. And I'm still wondering if this team is going to be able to run the football. Do they need to run the football to win this week? Maybe not. Maybe they are just going to throw it all over Indianapolis. I wonder if the roof's going to be open. I think Indianapolis actually opens their roof at their stadium. And I'm assuming the weather is going to be decent.
Normally Jim Irsay tweets it out, right?
He does. That's right.
I'll get on that.
Okay, cool. We'll figure that out. We're also going to hear from that Colts fan who sings songs before every single game. What am I, Mike Tyson? Every single game. But look, I've got some concerns about this matchup. I'm not picking the Colts to win. Those are just two things I'm going to be focusing on Sunday when the Texans play the Colts.
20 hours ago, Jim Irsay, at Jim Irsay on Twitter, tweeted out in all caps, roof, ? Son
of a bitch.
So
Jim.
I think he's taking suggestions.
I'm bummed out that he gave the AFC finalist banner to the Pardon My Take boys. Honestly, I respect the move, but I'm kind of bummed that's no longer in there.
We got some opens in the comments, couple closed, open. Yeah, I think the people want it open. I don't know if he listens to the comments, but
I mean,
I think the comments want it open.
It's supposed to be 73 degrees and sunny on Sunday.
Ooh, close it. Too chilly.
Yeah, the Texans are too used to practicing in the heat.
Yeah, exactly.
It's training camp might be chilly up there. You're gonna have to wear sleeves.